All right, thank you guys. Yeah, like Dr. Loman said, we had all our seniors have class at 12. Well, not all of them, but we had class at 12:30, or doesn't get out till 12:30. So I guess that's part of why a lot of our seniors aren't here. They'd like to be there. I'm meeting with all of them today and tomorrow individually. We had a meeting yesterday to kind of wrap up our season as well. The season was fun. We had a fun season. All right, it didn't go as far as wins go the way we'd like it. Obviously we want to continue to build the wins. We had one more win than we had last year. But we're obviously a lot better, which I think everybody could see. And measurably we were better in terms of statistically. Not just with one more win. The games were much closer. Stuff like that. But what I really wanted to express to the seniors yesterday in our final team meeting was that they built a foundation for the future more than any other class, this class specifically, namely for a couple things. So think about this. They had to deal with a coaching change right in the middle of their careers. They also had to deal with a change in culture, change in way of doing things, finally getting admitted into Division II NCAA football, which was a transition in itself, which is a huge mountain to climb in terms of going from NAI to Division II. Bigger than most people know, not just in the financial part of it, but also in the talent part of it, also in the way that they can get admitted and stay eligible, stuff like that. And these kids had to go through a lot of change in what they didn't think was going to be when they started college, if that makes sense. So they really adapted to it, and I'm very proud of them. Very proud of them for that. I'll never forget that group of seniors. And I told them when we win conference, I'm buying them all a ring, even if I have to buy it out of my pocket. So this group right here is very special to me, and I know a lot of them aren't here, but they know how I feel about them. And like I said, I'm very, very, very proud of this group, especially the ones that stuck it out. The few that didn't, well, to each their own, and they didn't want to adapt to the changes that were made when I came in. So again, wish they were all here, but again, because of the timing, they couldn't be. But I definitely want to say thank you to you guys, and I know I told you that in the meeting, and I told you that individually. But I say thank you to you guys. Appreciate you very much. Then our all-conference came out today. We had four members land in all-conference on the all-conference team, which I thought we were going to have a lot more. Did not. Spent 3 hours yesterday on a conference call basically selling all of our players to the other coaches. Coaches vote on that deal. But it's a blind vote, so I don't get to see who votes for who. Would like to see that, honestly. Very frustrated, I guess is the best word to say it, with how the voting went. I believe a lot of guys, and it sounds like sour grapes, and maybe it is, I don't care. We got the shaft in a lot of areas. But it is what it is. We got to win more games, I guess, to get more guys on that team. But it's going to come out, I think, at 2 o'clock today. But our players that got all conference were Joe St. Fleur got second team. Jordan Norris got second team defensive back. Reed Miller got honorable mention quarterback. And Horatio Smith got second team wide receiver. And that's all we got. So nominated a lot more than that. I was really disappointed that Maurice Wright, our freshman safety, didn't get anything. By far and away had more stats than anybody else as a freshman. Far and away more stats as a safety than anybody else. He didn't even get an honorable mention nod. Very, very frustrated with the process. Like I said, I don't want to sound like sour grapes, but it is a little bit. I'm pretty pissed off. We should have had a lot more guys on there. They deserved it. And they're not going to get that recognition. But from the conference, but we know how well they played, and we're gonna, we do, and from our Northwestern account, we're gonna post out who got our players of the year. But I'll go ahead and do that now. Our offensive MVP for our team this year was Reed Miller. So congratulations, Reed, for that. Gave these out yesterday. Our defensive player of the year was Shane Collins, our free safety. Had 70-something tackles. Did a great job all season. Played almost every play. Our offensive lineman of the year was Scott Batchelder. Played our right tackle, number 57. Our MTXE award, which is our Mental Toughness Extra Effort award, went to Joby St. Fleur. It's kind of the award you give to the guy that has, he played with injury all year and played up to the best of his ability and was still productive, even though he fought through that injury. Our defensive lineman of the year was Theodis Williams, who had a great year and really, really rose to the occasion and got better over the course of this past year. Very proud of Theodis, who's number 4, by the way. I know a lot of you guys know him by numbers, and that's how my mom's always like, hey, what? I'll say someone's name, and I'm talking about, well, okay, what number is that? They only show you another name, so that's okay. That's what's different about football than any other sport, because you don't get to see their faces near as much. Our big hit of the year was Devin Payton, who's actually sitting over there eating with his dad and his brother. Devin Payton was our big hit of the year against East Central. He hit a guy on our sidelines and kind of suplexed him. Was our big hit, voted our big hit of the year. I know I'm missing something. What am I missing? Special Teams Player of the Year, right, was Jacob Payton, who's sitting over there too, eating. Jacob Payton was our freshman running back that rushed for almost 800 yards. Had a great year. Was great on special teams, and all four special teams he was on at one point and did a great job. And then our freshman of the year, he also got co-freshman of the year. Jacob Payton did, along with Maurice Wright for our team. So very proud of those guys, and a lot of those guys are young guys that have a chance to be really, really good and to really set our program forward going into the future. What's tough about this job is, seeing all these guys that contributed so much leave, it's very hard as a coach. It takes a while to get over, but then again, it's part of the circle of life, so to speak. We got our coaches already on the road recruiting all over the country already. I send them out the day after the game. So Sunday we meet, and then I send them all out. They're already driving in Arizona, Texas, all over Oklahoma, Kansas, Iowa, at the junior colleges, visiting with coaches trying to replace these guys that are seniors. Of course, we replace them with our high school kids too, but, we're going to go out, probably going to get an offensive lineman that's a junior college kid, or a Division I bounce back guy. Might be getting a wide receiver, and definitely looking at defensive ends. We graduated 4 defensive ends, right? Four defensive ends were seniors? Okay, graduated 4 defensive ends, and then, looking to fulfill a linebacker position, because we did graduate one of our starting linebackers, and then a corner as well, to replace Jordan. We think we got young guys that can step in those roles, but again, the more depth, the better. And that's what we found out, that we need to continue to improve on our depth. Our frontline guys are great and all that, but it's you got to be able to withstand injuries. You got to be able to withstand guys being tired and having to come out, because the way the game's played nowadays, there's a huge difference if you watch an NFL game and a college game, and you'll see it. And you see it all the time now. There's so many guys rotating in college. In NFL, that doesn't happen because there's so many TV timeouts. There's so many breaks in the game. They actually huddle and spend time, resting. In college, they don't spend much time resting. It's go, 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 go. So you have to have more depth, and that's the thing that we're continuing to try to build. As far as what we're doing now, we've already started our off-season program. It started this morning at 6 a.m. I already started lifting. I already started working out. No rest for the weary. If you want to get ahead of the teams that you're trying to beat, you got to do more work. Period. And that's what we intend to do. And our strength and conditioning program, again, is going to continue to get better and better. I'm going to take a much bigger role in that, considering that is part of my background. Now that a lot of things that, as a head coach, that I wanted, programs I wanted in place, are in place, now I can focus on development of players. And when you're developing a program, we always talk about the 3 things: All right, the three most important things as far as development is player development, recruiting, and then the schematic part of it. So we're doing the recruiting, we're doing the strength and conditioning, and we're doing all the things to continue to get better and continue to drive this program forward, which is going the right way. I'm very impatient, so I wanted it yesterday. But realizing where we're coming from and where we need to get and how far we are behind the other schools that have been Division two for 20 years, or even some the Arkansas schools longer than that. We got the things we need to do to get there. Take a little bit longer than we would like, or that I would like at least. Anyway, that's where we're at with what we're doing and how the off season's going to roll. We have a visit set up for our junior college visit days, December 3rd already. So we'll have a visit day that day. The next weekend, something that some of you guys might know, but I didn't announce it. Reed Miller is going to be playing in an All-Star game, United States versus Mexico game in Monterrey on December 10th. Thank God that his ankle is not bad; it's not broke, and the swelling didn't overtake him, and he's feeling pretty good. He's going to be the quarterback for that team, and I'm going to go down and be the offensive coordinator during that game. So very fortunate that we got invited and asked to do that by the United States end of it, and very, very happy to do that and excited to get to coach him one more time before it's all said and done. So I guess that's about it as far as news goes. As far as the game goes, hey, they played better than us. They beat us. They beat us in that game. You watch it. We had opportunities. We didn't take advantage of some of them. We got inside the red zone a couple times. Did not score. We had them on third and longs. They were 8 of 20 on third downs, which really, really hurt us. But getting them in the third down is the key. You got to get them in third down, but then you got to stop them. 20 third downs is good, but not if you don't stop them every time. And then offensively, like I said, it was 20 to 10. Then I think they scored again, and we got to 26-16. Then we had a chance to make it, 23 to 16 or 24. If I'd have gone for 2 right there, I don't know what I'd have done. At that point, it's 4th and 1. I thought we got a horrible spot. 4th and 1, we didn't get it. And, they went down and scored. And that was pretty much the end of it. Real proud of our kids, though, man. They conducted themselves great as far as their character was great. There was no fighting, nothing like that. Very, 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 very proud of how they carried themselves with class. And that's all going to pay off in the future for sure, because I do believe in karma. And, what comes around goes around type deal. I do believe in that, and that stuff's coming. So, again, that game, of course, I hate them with all my heart. I can't stand them. I almost had a heart attack when I gave them credit for beating us. But that's what happened. So we got to continue to get better. And a lot of us, man, I'm telling you, the whole second half of that game, a majority of that game, due to injury, we're playing safeties at linebacker, DBs at linebacker. Which Caden Gasek was one of them, had a great game, had 10 tackles, did a good job. But again, they're playing out of position. And that goes back to recruiting. We've got to recruit more players and have better depth. Have better depth all the way down the line. And that's the thing that, only being in your second year, you still gotta focus on more than anything else. And that's building the culture and recruiting. And that's what we're doing. That's where we're spending all of our energy. So anyway, anybody got any questions? Comments, observations, anything?
Someone else going to Mexico to play?
Oh yeah, Scott Batchelder, the right tackle, is going to. He's going to. So it'll be fun to coach him too. I wish he was here. He's a senior. He couldn't come. He's in some ag class, learning how to. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. Learn how to do something. So he's ag vet stuff. So
Yeah, Blue Sky Media should be sending the radio.
you talk to one of the partners. Don't talk to me about that. That had nothing to do with me.
It was just a general statement.
Okay, just so he could hear it. Just so he could hear it. Yeah. So.
Does Mexico understand what kind of football you're coming down to play? That means something different for them, doesn't it?
Yeah, right. No, I did ask. I asked the kind of the general manager of Team USA, like, hey, what are they going to do defensively? Because again, I'm not the head coach of this game, so I'm just going to worry about offense. He's like, hey, they're going to be in a 3-man front, cover 2, and I'm like, okay, the whole time. And they're like, yeah. I was like, okay, that's good to know. So if you know that kind of stuff, obviously, but you got to also think this: we're only going to get 3 days, 3 practices, and basically 2 install meetings to install what we want to do. So I talked to Reed about this today. He's to come in and we're going to determine how we're going to call things, how we're going to signal it. We don't have a lot of time. I mean, this is stuff that we learn over 100 practices and 100 meetings. So how much you got to narrow it down and what you got to actually call is going to be key to that. But it is good to know what they're going to be in. So because they have no idea what we're going to do. So because I don't know what we're going to do yet. We haven't even talked about what we're going to do yet, right? So, but if anybody doesn't have any other observations, I want these 3 now. Again, wish everybody could have come, but I want these 3 to stand up. 1, introduce yourself, hometown. What your degree's in, when you graduate, and what your plans are after you graduate. Can you remember all that? Yeah. Okay, good.
Hello. My name is Ray Phillips Jr. Play defensive end here. I wear number 3. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, Southside. My major is subject sports science with a minor in sports psychology. I plan to get a GA job, do a master's, so that I do graduate in May of next year course. And I'm just trying to get ready. I'm not trying to take my break or nothing like that. I'm going to go straight to a GA job. That's my hope to get my school. So I just want to become a coach. I want to do like Coach Watson one day. So I want to be a defensive coach.
I'm Reed Miller from Panther, Texas. I played quarterback. I've already graduated with my degree in health and sports science, a minor in sports psychology. I've started my master's in adult education with emphasis towards administration, so I should be done with that next December. And after that, hopefully I can convince someone to let me help coach for a little while or get started on the right track.
There you go.
My name is Cole Cronin, number 73, defensive tackle and nose guard. Majoring in ag and a minor in animal science. After I get done with that, I'm actually going to go to the Northwest Tech here in Alva and finish my mechanics degree. After I get that, I'm hoping to start a strength and conditioning program in my high school. If not, start up a shop.
Where's your high school?
South Central High School in Coldwater, Kansas.
Okay.
All right, Cole. Thank you. Clark.
So if Reed's here in school in the fall, does that make him a GA in the fall?
It does.
Okay, just making sure.
And he's a GA in the spring. Again, and pursue other football opportunities that come up. So and we'll see where he'll see where that goes. And but definitely he's a help. We already talked about that. He's a help in the spring and fall, and unless he's playing somewhere. So, but other than that, man, I mean, we got our seniors again. Like I said, I can't say enough about them. How proud I am of this group, and they're going to be when they look back on their career and what happens afterwards. Hopefully, they can be proud of what they helped build. What's funny is before the Southwestern game, I had Jason Bryant and Todd Benway talk to the team via video. All right, and what's funny about that, their last team, they went 1-9 their senior year. Jason Bryant's Hall of Fame wide receiver. Todd Benway played safety here. His nephew is currently on my team right now. and they talked about how proud they are of what happened in those 99, 2000 years when them as seniors, they went 1-9, but all that was built as that year they built the foundation for what was to come. And that was Dr. Lohman's first year as coming back as the head coach. And when I talked to him about that and building a program, it's 1994. And when I talked to him about that and building the program, and he's like, "Hey, that group of seniors, don't ever forget that group of seniors that really, really pushed things forward." And I'm telling you, this group, even more than last year, and I'm proud of those guys last year, but this group this year was the ones that really set the culture ahead and really is the springboard to what we're going to do in the future. So, again, they deserve praise. They deserve praise, and because of the win-loss record of their entirety here, they're not going to get a lot of praise. When history looks back on them, but when I look back at from my playing days, and we were really good, but I look back at that group of that group that went 1-9, the group that went 5-5, and I wasn't here, but I knew those guys. I knew those guys, and I know they were the ones that helped build that to be what it was. And that's what this group is for us. So, again, I hope history looks back kindly on them, and what they actually did was very, very large in transitioning this program and this university from NAIA to Division II, which is no small feat at all. So, again, hey, thank you for the year. And Dr. Smith.
On the first and second team quarterback, what kind of stats did they have compared to this guy's?
Okay, listen, I sat there and argued. Again, this phone call lasted 3 hours. And, all right, Reed was first in passing yards, first in touchdowns responsible for, first in offense, first in yards per game, first in touchdown to interception ratio with anybody that threw over 10 touchdowns, and almost doubled the amount of touchdowns as the second place guy. They gave it to the first and second place finishers in the conference. Their quarterbacks got first and second.
That makes no sense, though.
Yep, Harding's quarterback got first, and Southern Arcs got second. Southern Arcs played like one quarter against us and got hurt. I mean, I can't fault him for getting hurt, obviously, but he was the one closest to Reed statistically. The left-hander. What's his name? Renner. Okay, Renner. So, coaches do, but they don't let us see who voted for who. I'll open mine up, let them see how I voted, but the other coaches don't want to do that. So I brought that up, and everybody's like, "No,
You can't vote for your own."
can't vote for your own." And when I suggested that we open up, I want to see who voted for who, it was not pretty. So I didn't want any part of that. So it's here's the thing, all right, and here's going to be the thing, and they don't want everybody to understand. And it's just here's how it is. I'll lay it out. All right. This league was formed in Arkansas, Oklahoma. The Arkansas schools wanted to get out of the Gulf South so they didn't have to travel so far, and they felt like everybody on the East Coast side and the South side, all right, the Valdostas, North Alabama, all them were being biased towards the Arkansas because they never got the all-conference teams. The Oklahoma schools were, except for us, Southern Nazarene, and Oklahoma Baptist, were the schools that got kicked out of Lone Star. All right, needed a conference. They joined, and then they had us, SNU, and Oklahoma Baptist. All right, and there's some, until an Oklahoma team wins the conference, which has never happened yet. Our top Oklahoma team finished 5th in the league this year, 5th. Until the Oklahoma side beats the Arkansas side, just overall, that's going to continue to happen. And there's some other things. I mean, there's some things where that they have advantages over us, and until we close the gap on that stuff, there's going to be a David versus Goliath type of theme. Till some of that stuff gets bypassed or gets closer. You know, I'm talking resource-wise and stuff like that. So, is what it is. Part of it. Part of being the young side. I mean, you got to look at the Oklahoma side as the young side versus the big brother, basically, and that's where we're at. So we finished tied for 8th in the league with Monticello, 4-7. The teams that finished below us, the 4 teams that finished below us, including Monticello finished below us because we beat them head to head. So the 5 teams that finished behind us, 4 of them are Oklahoma schools. So, and again, our top Oklahoma school finished 5th. So that's where we're at, and we got to get an Oklahoma school to win the conference at some point, and then some of that stuff will start to fade away. So, yeah, and I was mad about Reeves. Don't get me wrong, but I get it. The quarterback, and that's that. Even the MIAA when we were there, we had guys that had better stats. Like when I had Brent Wilson, he had better stats than the guy that got it at Northwest, but Northwest won the conference in 2013. The one I was really upset about was Maurice Wright. He finished 3rd in the conference in tackles. Only 1 safety finished ahead of him. And there was 6 safeties on the all-conference team, and he wasn't one of them. That's a travesty to me. That's unbelievable to me. The guy that finished 1st in the freshman of the year voting had 200. It was a backup running back for Ouachita, and he finished 200 yards behind, 300 yards behind Jacob Payton in rushing yards, and Jacob was a freshman himself. So they only let me nominate one guy. I couldn't nominate Jacob and Maurice, so I nominated Jacob as a running back instead of the freshman of the year, and because I thought Maurice was a shoo-in. I thought for sure. And their argument on the phone when we were talking is you finished last in defense. All right. That's what you're going to say, fine. I mean, I'm going to remember that. So when you guys want to argue that point again for somebody else, I'm going to say that. So that's, and the other one I was disappointed in is Riley Hess didn't get anything. He had 10 touchdowns as a tight end, and the next closest was 5. And he didn't get one of the 3 spots. So. And their claim was he's not a tight end, he doesn't ever block. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So it's, I feel bad for our kids on that deal, and I'm mad about it. There's really nothing you can do about it because it's the coaches that do vote. It's not like the media votes. You can't blame it on that stuff. Coach, people try to do that all the time, but it's coaches that vote. So until we're not looked as, and I'm talking about we, not Northwestern, we as Oklahoma. Is not looked at as little brother, and that's going to happen until we start beating some of the big boys, So
Just go do that.
that's what we got to do. That's I got to still try. Elephant memory when it comes to things that upset me. I don't forget about that stuff. So, but again, I like where we're at. I like, of course, I wanted more wins, but there was 3 games we were 1 possession away. 1 possession away. Other games that we may have faded at the end, we were really close at, within 6 points in the third, fourth quarter. The gaps closed a lot. All right. We're doing our stat stuff for our recruiting, and we scored 361 points this year. 2 years ago, we scored 180. We scored 361 points this season. 2 years ago, 180. So we've doubled our point production in basically since I've got here. So that's a trend we got to continue to do, and we plan and expect to continue to do. So we got to replace great players. Like the one sitting over there. We think we got a couple guys that can do that. Maybe not to that level yet, but hopefully by the time they're done playing, because I'll have more time with them than I got with them, unfortunately. We got some weapons that did not get to play this year that we thought were going to play this year. If they could have played, it would have been scary. With Gavin Garner, who broke his collarbone the first game of the year. That dude's going to be really, really good. And Jamar Morris, the tight end that we had that couldn't play this year. I don't think anybody can guard. I don't think anybody can guard, period. dude's scary good. And then Andrew Yates, who came on in those 2 games he got to play in before he hurt his knee in that first play of the Southeastern game. He had surgery yesterday, so he'll be good to go hopefully by the first game. Hopefully by training camp he'll be good to go, but definitely by the first game. So and we got a young tight end named Kevin Ford, who's 6'6", kid from he grew up in Norway. He spent his last 2 years in high school in Bryan, Texas. Is going to be very good, we think. Not to mention all our running backs, and Jacob just being a freshman is going to be, really, really good for years and years to come, which is great. And Horatio's just a sophomore, so going to be a junior next year. Again, on the offensively, defensively we're going to spend a lot of money and a lot of time because we graduate a lot of players. But offensively, we graduated, obviously our quarterback and our slot receiver, and who we're just going to move around some pieces. We'll be fine there. But we do need to get an offensive tackle to replace Scotty. Scott Batchelder graduating. Our left tackle was a freshman this year, so Javier Rodriguez, he needs to lose some weight. It's about 360 right now. To keep his weight down. But got to replace Scott, and then we're good to go on offense. So I know Reed wished he had another year left for all them weapons. There's some young guys that are really, really good, talented, and it's easy to recruit when you're easier to recruit on offense. We had almost 5,000 yards offense this year. So it's easy to recruit. Guys want to come to that type of offense, and big guys all the time, trying to come, and it's about getting them eligible and making sure they can get into school. So, but future's bright, and I'm excited. I'm really excited. You may not be able to see it right now, but that's because I'm still pissed off about the all-conference deal. It came out today. I was livid this morning. It wasn't really this morning. It was about 10:30 when we found out about that. So, but it is what it is, and we're gonna fight back and deal with it. So, anything else? Well, thank you guys for this year. It was a great year. It was fun year. So, kids had a great time, and so did I. So I appreciate you guys and all your support, and look forward to the basketball ones and the rest of the year. All right, because I'm gonna come give him a hard time. Coach Jordan's a good guy. Thank you guys.